What up? What up? What up? It's Ibn Webb, Ib Webb, Quran the Sum here. Official thing we have going on here. Essex County All Day Edition I'm doing here. Ray Clark, Southside Zone, North Zone here. One of the OGs out here. I mean, just hearing about him, exploits on the court, what have you here. Even a greater person here. So, like I said, I was able to talk to him a little bit beforehand. So I'm just looking forward to just hearing a little bit more about his journey, what have you here. So, ladies and gentlemen, Ray Clark, just hold on tight. Hey, place a face with a name now. How you doing there?
Well, you're a hard man to catch.
Far from it. Far from it. Far. Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you.
My pleasure, my friend.
Yeah, nah. Thank you for just taking time out. I mean, everybody ripping and running here, so but I'm glad we got an opportunity just to chop it up for a second here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Good. How you feeling?
Just like a senior citizen, a pinch here, ache there,
Okay.
a little stiffness here, but I'm glad to be still here and amongst the living. Those still talking about the game and the people we played with and against. How you doing?
Absolutely. I'm good. Thank you. And again, to extend that well wishes. Hopefully, everybody, your family, everybody's doing well and safe with all the stuff going on.
Make sure I can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, just extending the well wishes. Just hoping also your family, everybody's doing well, safe and sound there.
Well, it's good to be remembered,
Yes. Nah. Good. Yeah, that, like the premise as we talked about before, it was just me just having opportunity, just names that I may have heard or not heard but should know about, and whether it was Essex County or whether it was throughout the United States, the world here. But again, obviously, the whole just me growing up in Essex County, I actually born in North, raised in Orange, what have you there. So I mean, just had opportunity to just hear a lot, from the old heads, the older heads, people my age, everything else as well too. Just about like who's who and exploits of a lot of people here, and I know the journey here. How did it start? Were you born in Newark or you ended up in Newark? How did it start for you?
I was I was born in Newark,
Okay.
raised in Newark, uh, grammar school, junior high school. Uh, it was a good time. It was a good age. The city was evolving. Um, it had its struggles, but was heading in a good direction.
Hmm.
Soon to have a African American mayor. Uh, and the big thing in a city like Newark was the sports. Not just basketball, but football, track,
Hmm.
even baseball. You know,
Okay.
and it was just fun to be a part of all of that. Whatever I wasn't playing, I certainly was at those games, and the camaraderie with all those people that I grew up with, went to school with. It's just it was just a real fun time.
Now it sound like you grew up in a big family, or was it just you, your
Um,
siblings?
well, no, I'm in the middle. I'm a middle child, so I had problems and issues. I had an older sister, a younger brother,
Okay.
uh, and grew up with both my parents. Fortunate to say that, and
Hmm.
uh, pretty good basic childhood. I grew up pretty much, I guess they call it a neighborhood, man. On Saturday, everybody was out on the block playing. We would make up games. Just
Yes.
make up a game. We'd have all kind of rules, scoring systems, all kinds of stuff, and it was just pure fun.
Hmm.
And obviously we were governed by the Miss Marys and Sister Sarahs on the block, sitting there on the porch,
Yeah.
keeping an eye on us, ready to snitch us out. And we grew up with a healthy respect for those women, and they really looked after the neighborhood.
Absolutely. The whole it takes a village. Definitely, it takes a village, and that nothing more
Mhm.
evident back then. Absolutely. Yeah. Now, as far as what part of Newark you grew up in?
Say it again.
What part of Newark did you grow up in?
Uh, it's interesting. It was like I was right on the cusp of several wards: the South Ward, Central Ward, I was on, grew up on Pishon Avenue,
Okay.
and that was right in between Avon, Springfield, Bergen Street,
Hmm.
um, uh, Belmont Avenue, and you can go 2 blocks either way and you change wards.
Okay.
And I knew people. I guess I was just fortunate to know people in all of those wards because it was nothing back in the day for a group of guys to get together, and we would walk down to Weekway Park and play
Hmm.
baseball. We would walk uh, up to Cleveland School to play basketball. We walked all over town. We went into North Newark, some areas that we weren't always welcomed in, but we walked over there, would play ball for a couple of hours and walk back. We walked everywhere. Had a good bus system, but it just wasn't what we did all the time. We walked and just had we were like Cooley High. That was us.
Okay. That's all
Cooley
right.
High
That's all right.
to me and my guys, Cooley High was real.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hmm.
Nah, and even with the walking, I mean, you know how many like stories and experiences just come from just walking after playing tons of pickup games or whatever you was playing, but just that whole experience, you just seeing the city, you just being around, you just seeing things, and you growing up with the person next to you or the people you next to walking. I mean, you can't take those experiences away.
It's true. You really can't take in those experiences, and you really don't want to.
Right. Right.
Everybody's generation. Like uh, whatever the turmoil of 2022 is right now,
Hmm.
20, 30 years from now, these people, this is their good old days. This
Yes.
will be their good old days. All that's happening that's in the 6 o'clock news, this will be their good old days. And I grew up in the early '60s, so we had uh, uh, the issues with race and all that development, Dr. King, and those are my good old days. To understand and watch how things develop and evolve.
Hmm.
Things began changing,
Hmm.
and it was just an interesting phenomenon for a young kid like me because the world pretty much, or at least my community, much was my oyster. I didn't have a lot of restrictions. Uh, I didn't really have racism in my face,
Hmm.
but it was around me. It was a little covert. I guess I escaped a lot of stuff because I played ball. Um, but I was a happy kid, happy, did a lot of things. And I really wanted to see what else was available for a fun-loving kid besides just sports. I was a member of the Newark Museum. I found that to be fascinating.
Hmm.
Newark
Yes.
Library, went on field trips. I did a lot of traveling before I really got into sports, and it wasn't the destination as much as was the trip that I always liked. The train rides and long bus rides, and I'm sitting there while looking out the window, and it was like, wow, look at this. And I never felt myself being poor. You know, we
Hmm.
was I was never hungry. My father worked in a factory, and my mother was a nurse, and I never, peanut butter and jelly sandwich was great, good to go, glass of milk, and I'm on my way. I found out later on, yeah, we still had our little financial problems and issues, but as a kid growing up, I didn't feel any of them,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I was just a happy guy.
Mm. Now you mentioned just the museum and libraries. I mean, just being kids and just the imagination, how that could just take you wherever you wanted to go here. And like you said, it's the journey sometimes more or less than the destination. And just thinking, just hearing you just say that here, I mean, just being exposed to all the other stuff as well too. I mean, that makes you who you are.
Mhm. So it was a good time. It was
Nah,
just a good time. Yeah.
nah, definitely, definitely. And I know, you mentioned baseball. Was that your first love?
Actually, yes.
Okay.
And what was interesting in the time, we were seasonal. You
Mm.
play baseball during the summer, you play basketball during the fall, and you play a little football. That was what you did pretty much in the wintertime. And you was able to just develop skills in all the different games.
Yes.
And yes, my first love was baseball. I wanted to be a shortstop, but I started
Okay.
growing. I was really too
Mhm.
tall. And the guy that first played first base wasn't giving it up. So I wound up in the outfield, and
Okay.
I really kind of surprised myself, amazed myself sometimes that I could run, but I was really surprised that I could always catch the ball. You know, I didn't have the greatest arm, but if it was up in the air long enough, I could get to it. You
Yeah,
know,
well, that's what they got cut off people for. You know what I mean? It takes away that deficiency, the lack of a strong arm. But they got cut off men.
not many people know that.
Nah, definitely, definitely. So you just played in the neighborhoods? I mean, just whether it's baseball or anything else, or you just start playing like organized as well too at a young age?
That was pretty much it, you know, because we didn't really play in parks. You know, we played in the playgrounds.
Mhm.
So it's usually asphalt top or whatever, and someplace within walking distance.
Okay.
But I remember more than anything else was that it was just fun, man, just good.
Yes.
At the end of the day, you're just sweating and dripping, laughing, and just had a good day, and you was just looking forward to tomorrow.
Hmm. Now, even with all that said, did you know? Speaking of the destination, early destination, was Southside gonna be that stop for you when it came to high school?
Well, let me go back a piece, man.
Okay.
I started playing in elementary school, and I'll never forget. I was in a little after school basketball league, and we won the championship.
Mhm.
And I won a trophy. And after getting the trophy, got the trophy in an assembly program about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, right before dismissal.
Mhm.
And I remember putting that trophy in my bag, and I ran home.
Right.
I ran all the way home. I didn't want nobody to steal my trophy, and I couldn't wait to show my trophy to my mother. And she put it right up on the TV, and it was my proudest moment. I didn't know what I had really done as far as a player. I was pretty much just the tallest person on the team,
Okay.
and it was the beginning. And
Mhm.
when I left elementary school, the sixth grade, I went to junior high school. It was grade 7, 8, 9, and
Mhm.
I'm evolving. I'm developing now. I've got interest, and I played in the seventh grade. I played on the junior varsity team, and I remember when we go to the varsity games. This is when they had the big gymnasiums. They would, all these gymnasiums they were developing too because all the high schools were old buildings and they had small gyms,
Mhm.
and that's pretty much where they played. And now they got these, a couple schools, Barringer, I think, West Kenny. I went to Clinton Place. They got these big gyms now and fiberglass backboards. So, we go to the games. It was just like, wow, where all this? Because they had all those dividing doors. And I said, wow, look at the court, and the just all the excitement in the gym and everything. I had never been a part of that,
Mhm.
and I just knew I wanted to play on the varsity team. So in the eighth grade, uh, I was about the third. I was a third string center, and the two guys ahead of me turned up ineligible
Mm.
behind their grades.
Mhm.
And I got thrust into the start, not only on the team but in the start lineup.
Lineup, yeah.
Uh, I really began to learn the game a little bit. We weren't all that successful, but I was sort of feeling my way around, and I knew that I liked playing basketball. And then in the ninth grade, now I'm starting, and we won the championship. And again,
Mm.
you get that taste in your mouth, and it's like,
Yes.
wow, this is this is a good feeling, and kind of it help your development, your self esteem. You see yourself in a different light. I said, okay, this can work.
Mhm.
So that's where it all started.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, those two boys that was ineligible. Hey, bad for them, but great for you.
Mhm.
Yeah. It- nah. That I mean that just shows us though you gotta be ready. I mean, just life skills. I mean, even at an early age, you sometimes don't think about it, but those life skills. I mean, when the lights on, you gotta be ready. Yeah.
Well, I really wanted to be kind of like well rounded. You
Yes.
know, even then, I knew that the NBA is every kid's, dream aspiration. But I was even then I was saying like, well, what if I don't make the NBA? Then what? Where am I going to go?
Hmm.
We already had this racial divide, in our the fabric of our community. And as a black man, I said one of the most important things that I needed to develop was the ability to communicate clearly
Yes. Yes.
and to be able to write. You know, and I don't have to be Edgar Allan Poe, and I don't have to be Dr. King.
Hmm.
But when you go into the business world, it doesn't take long for people to get, what they say, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. So,
Right.
and I still recall the things that were taught back in grade school, how you get a job, you go by yourself, if you have a 10 o'clock appointment, be there at 9:30. It's
Hmm.
far better to be a half hour earlier than 5 minutes late,
Hmm.
wear a jacket and tie, you know, have at least 3 questions, 4 questions that, all these are fundamental things to, it sort of shows that you had some education,
Yes.
because let's, walk in the door, first thing they see is this big black man. And what do
Hmm.
you have for my company? And that's where the conversation and the dialogue began, because your resume notwithstanding and everything on your application, you still have to have this conversation. That you're going to either I get lack for a better word, impress people, or at least give them the feeling that this is someone that could contribute to my business. So learning how to speak, wasn't always yeah man, yo dog, whatever. Because I can do that too, but to relax the vulgarity and speak clearly, look in a person's eyes, those fundamental type of things, and you got to develop that, because believe me, I was really shy, man, until I got on the basketball court. And even then I wanted to say I want to develop myself beyond that.
Hmm. Nah, that makes sense. And you touched on something a couple of times. You talk of just being young in those teenage years. You mentioned Newark, just navigating through all that. I mean, obviously, you're in the midst of the riots and everything else. Like, how'd you just? What was going on, if you could recall this in your mind? You're still developing. You're still trying to grow up, but you got all this stuff getting thrust upon you. No all fault of your own. Like, how did you just navigate all that?
Well, well, but let me tell you something. Basketball was my cane. Basketball was my entry fee into the development of manhood, some maturity, and teamwork. You know,
Okay.
um, I started on the varsity basketball team my sophomore year in high school. I was
Hmm.
14 years
Mm.
old, and I was up against pressure right from the door because I was playing in front of the senior who also happened to be the captain of the football team. So he was a very popular guy. Here I am coming from junior high school.
Hmm.
And just as a basketball player, my skills fit in a little better than his. And matter of fact, he got so angry, he quit the team. But I
Hmm.
played that year with 3 seniors and a junior. One of the juniors' name was Greg Latta. He went on to play in the NFL. And the 3 seniors, one was all state, the other two was one was all city, and one was all county. Super talented guys, and I just learned how to do my role,
Okay.
do what I can do. We went on to win the state championship. We was #1 in the state, and that you see your picture in the paper, your name in the paper. You walk into school. You're a big man on campus, and I wasn't even a big man. I was just
Hmm.
a sophomore. And it was funny because every article that was in the paper about our games, it never said Ray Clark. It always said 14-year-old Ray Clark. It only
14-year-old, really? Yeah.
put my age
Hmm.
there. And yeah, it was a time of development. They say each one teach one. Man, they was playing basketball all over the city. But what happened is it was strong competition. I played against some people who done some real good things in the game of basketball in their careers, and you get to measure yourself against it. You
Hmm.
know, how do I fit? And again, for the days that I couldn't match up with some of the better skilled guys, I developed and I learned. And when you watch, because what guys would do back then was we watched the Knicks at night. This is when the Knicks were really the Knicks.
Okay.
With Frazier, Reed, and those boys,
Hmm.
and Earl Monroe. and we copy their moves. Earl the spin move ain't new. Earl was on the spin move when he was in college. And then we would come out to the park, playground, whatever, and we would all just start playing or mimicking stuff we had seen. The crossover isn't new. It was
No, it's
crossing
not.
over back then. But what happened was you start adding these little bit of skills to your repertoire, and you find out, man, I can get by my man. I can get open with a shot. I can do this. I can do that. You hit the open man because you look for an open man, and passing the ball was all part of developing that team thing. Like, I got a 12-footer, but he got a 4-footer. Give him the ball, because you do the math. I don't care if I get 30 points and you only come off the bench and you get 2, but we win by 2 points. Your 2 points is just as valuable as my 30.
That's right.
So again, that's a different mindset, because we still have a little bravado, talk trash and the whole bit, but you can't talk crap if you don't win. And
Yeah.
winning is what I began to get a whole lot of, and it just helped my development.
Now you mentioned the whole development piece. Now you was working on your game like in the summertime or just even staying late after practice. When was you just? I know you're taking bits and pieces. But when was
All of
you?
that.
Yeah.
You work at your game, but it was my high school coach, his name was Barry Gimelstow, and it was his idea to start me on the varsity my sophomore year. And it was funny too, because when I first got to high school, when I shot my shot, my hand was really in front of my face, and he just moved my hand like this.
Okay.
He said, "Tell me what you see." I could see the basket.
Yeah.
Little
hmm
things like that. He taught me. I'm 6'3", 6'4". That's tall for high school. You know, um, we would line up to chairs in the gym, the length of the court, and I would cross over, dribble between the chairs. You get down low and you work through. And so what happened when I would get into games, and usually I would match up against the other team's big guy, and I could go outside because I could dribble the ball.
Okay.
If we got pressed, I could bring the ball up against him.
hmm
It was just learning the skill and being able to exercise it in the game situations, like build confidence. Man, look what's happening here. I'm dribbling the ball left hand and right hand. I dribble the ball with my left hand and whatnot, and just doing things that help the team move along. And it all was part of that development in my game. And I remember taking foul shots seriously. You know,
Yes.
you want to average 20 points a game, make 2 layups and 1 foul shot a quarter.
hmm
5 points a quarter times 4. Don't sound like much, but yeah, you can get 20 points real easy. A tap, a rebound, an offensive rebound, make a free throw. Well,
Yeah.
2 of those and 1 of those every quarter. You got
hmm
20 points.
Nah, interesting. And then just off the court, how are you? Just you saying 14 and 15, you guys are winning. I mean, it's got to be just feeling just like euphoria here for you here. Like you doing all of this and being a big sports city as Newark is, and this I can only imagine how it was for you, just being that young around all of that.
Here we go. You can't have sunshine without the clouds. And
Okay.
yeah, after my sophomore year, I was a piece of work my junior year. You couldn't teach me nothing. You couldn't coach me nothing. I remember my
Oh.
coach pulled me out of practice and said, "Yo, who are you?"
Mm,
I was just so full of myself.
yeah.
It, but as bad as that was, it was also a good thing because I was able to be brought down a few pegs and not blow up about it. I mean, I really took it as learning experience because, you know, I had seen my picture in the paper. I had all this notoriety, my name, I was a big man on campus and whatnot. And the real answers was, so what?
Okay.
And I needed that as much as I needed the success that I had in my game. I really, really needed that because
Mm,
the following year, my senior year, I hooked up with Lou
okay.
Grimms.
Mhm.
And Lou was a year behind me. And
Mhm.
my coach came to me. Now you're a senior, right? And he said, Lou was a super talent. And he came to me, and I really respected that he did this. He says, Ray, I know this is your senior year, and you're supposed to get the ball. He says, but there's nobody in the city that can guard Lou. He says,
Yeah.
we gotta ride his back. And he said, believe me, there'll be plenty left over for you. Lou and I, we not only had a state championship team, Lou and I both made first team most.
Mm. Mm.
You know, again, the message was recognize the situation, relax the ego. It ain't
Mhm.
all about me, it's about the success of the team. I mean, we didn't have an overpowering team, but we had a team that was strong against other guards. Lou was 6'3", and he demanded, let alone commanded, double teams. He had to be.
Mhm.
And when he got double teams, that left me in one-on-one situation
Yeah. Yeah.
between the scoring and the team success. I mean, that senior year we were 22-2.
Mhm.
We in the city league, county tournament, and the state group 3 tournament, and we was ranked number 1. Um, but what I learned, what I came away with, was that if you're going to have success in your life, you have to assess situations. I mean, unless you're going to have a hot dog stand by yourself, you're working with
Mm.
other people. How do you
Mhm.
fit in? How do you fit them in?
Mm.
How do you feel part of the team?
Yeah.
And here it is, over 50 years I've been out of high school.
Yeah.
And the guys that are left, quite a few of them have passed on, but some of the guys that are left, I'm telling you, we see each other. A lot of us get together at the Thanksgiving football game, those that are,
Football, huh?
still with us. And I'm telling you, the hugs are tighter every year. The stories are longer. The lives are bigger. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a
Mhm.
who's who where you at.
Mhm.
Sometimes we exchange numbers, but I do the best I can trying to keep in touch with these guys, man, because they're your lifeline and your pipeline. These were guys that we put in time together, and for a cause that proved to be successful. Again, like several of my teammates have passed on, as well as the coach,
Mhm.
and it was just heartbreaking, because the chain was broken, but the lesson still remains. You know,
Yes.
I'm grateful beyond words for the lessons that I learned playing sports. I really am. They really taught me about there are no big I's and little U's. You can do some singular stuff in tennis, maybe golf.
Mhm.
That's the way the game is. But in
Mhm.
basketball, football, you know, baseball, I mean, you up there, that batter's box is just you and the pitcher.
Mhm.
But once you get on base, you're gonna get, you get bun them over, take them over from first to third. There's still some team elements in there, and if you're not gonna play within the confines of a unified success, then what are you doing? Because
Mhm.
like I said, if you want to be slick and talk slick, you got to win.
That's
They
right.
guys, yeah, they say what they want. You
Mhm.
know, my name may come up first, it might come up last, but it's gonna come up.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, definitely. You mentioned just talking about even preparing for life outside of the court there. I mean, so even did you think college was in your future there? You think it's senior year? You mean you coming off state championships, individual accolades? Like, were you thinking about your next step and how did you go about it?
Oh man, I'll tell you. I should have took a course in trying to pick a college. And it was the hardest thing I ever was confronted with, because what do I know about colleges? You know,
Hmm.
at that time, the only college in basketball that I had you ever heard of on a continual basis was UCLA. They
Hmm.
won all the time. You
Yes.
know, um, I had letters from UCLA, but I didn't want to go to California.
Okay.
I wanted to stay around at least the East Coast.
Hmm.
So I would say the school I picked wasn't a bad school, but if I had to do it all over again, I would probably go to Morgan State. I picked Seton Hall, and my freshman year was the last year of the freshman rule, where freshman players had to play freshman ball.
Okay.
Uh, next year, freshmen could play varsity. And my first varsity game, I started there as sophomore. I
Hmm.
had 30 points, and but we lost. And that taste of victory wasn't there. And I was like, man, it just wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Um, but there was I had an attitude problem,
Okay.
because in situations like that, instead of looking at um, all that you did and we lost, I should have been looking at what else can I do to help us win.
Hmm.
Come to practice a little earlier, work your shot a little more, help build some camaraderie a little bit. Let's face it, we was all sophomores in college. Still some high school hot shots, but Seton Halls is predominantly white Catholic school, and I'm coming from the Newark City League, and they thought Newark City League was next to this NBA.
Yeah.
So there was we didn't bond. I mean, it wasn't like I played with guys that we all lived in the projects and we saw each other every day. After
Hmm.
practice, you see 12, 15 guys getting in 12, 15 cars going in 12 or 15 different directions. You know, I mean, after practice and I was in high school, we got to just, go home. We had to kind of tear each other away. But, you know, home was a block away, up the hill, over there. We was all close. We catch each other sometimes coming to school, walk together. We just helped bonded us as guys, And so when you go into battle together, you're not just going into battle with a guy. You're going to get better with the team, but you're going to battle with your boys. It's my
Hmm.
guys,
That's right.
So miss that, and but again, that also helped me develop, because I majored in communications
I was gonna
back when
ask you that. I was gonna ask you that.
how to talk, you
Yes.
know, roll your voice, want to be heard in the crowd, your tone of voice, eye contact, things of that nature, things that will put you in a space to deal in the professional world, with all kinds of people. You never
Hmm.
know. I mean, so, that helped me develop. And today well, I spent most of my professional life in corrections.
Okay.
So I worked as a corrections officer at the county jail in Newark. I worked as a JDO, juvenile detention officer in the Essex County detention center. So I'm dealing with youth, and
Yes.
I was uh, uh, director of operations of a halfway house. So some of the kids that I had later on, I had their parents coming back to
Yeah.
the center.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I learned a lot about people. Yeah, they
Hmm.
had a tag. They coming from jail. They got the jail number. What? There's some good people.
I was
Some
about
of
to
them be.
say they people though, right? I was gonna say that they people though, right?
And I used to tell them, I says, y'all just a collection of the ones that didn't get over the fence. So it was
Hmm.
four of you. Three got over the fence. They caught you. It
Hmm.
just goes to show how many people didn't make it over the fence.
Hmm.
And they ran because they realized what I'm doing. It really isn't that, it's not the smart thing to do, a good thing to do. I mean, I got some dirt on me too. And you learn from your mistakes. Sometimes you pay dearly for your mistakes. Sometimes you just pay for your mistakes. And hopefully you come out on the other end a little smarter, a little wiser, a little more patient, and you understand, like, it ain't all about the big money thing and the big money, money, money. It's about being comfortable. Do you have everything you need? Are you happy? Can you pay your bills? Can you take care of anybody you bring into the world?
Hmm.
Stop trying to measure up with the Joneses. It's I don't care what you accumulate in your life, my friend. You're not going to take it to heaven with you. You know.
Yeah, interesting you said that. I said something to my wife actually today. We talking about something about money, and I was just like, I haven't been to a funeral yet where everybody's dough is in the coffin. I've never seen that yet. So to your point here, yeah, like it ain't going, it's not going with you. Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you get to grow. You get to grow up. You get to see some things around you. Like I said, I've worked with the criminal element for over 30 years,
Hmm.
and I could walk the streets of Newark and East Orange and pretty much feel kind of safe. You know what I mean? In my job in the youth house, I'm a youth advocate. We got a lot of kids there in gangs and whatnot, and they'll see you on the street before you see them. And if you treated them wrong, they're gonna let you know as soon as they get
Mhm,
that opportunity.
mhm.
And conversely, I've had plenty of them come up to me. They got their girlfriend with them, they got their kid, whatnot. Ah, Mr. Clark, what's up? Whatnot? And whenever I see a kid from the youth house with his friends and whatnot, he said, "Yo, man, you know him?" I said, "Yeah, we went to Harvard together."
Right, that's right. That's right. Now, did you see yourself going that way when you was at Seton Hall, as far as having a career, as far as working at the youth house, and all that stuff? Did you see yourself while you was at Seton Hall, you heading in that direction, or did it just come by this coincidence?
I'm still there, 68 years old,
Okay.
and partly because the money's good. Secondly, I really don't work real hard.
Mhm.
And third, a little embarrassed to say, but I still like the kids, you know.
Ain't
Um,
nothing to be embarrassed about that, not at
they,
all.
they, they, they look up to you, even if they can't reach you, because
Mhm,
when they're in an environment with adults doing positive things, a group of people come in talking, sharing some good stuff, inspirational stuff, they can cling to that for the minute. Their problem is once they get released, they're going back to the old environment and their own peer group, man. And
mhm.
it is hard to detach from that. I really pray for these
Strong,
kids,
yeah,
man.
yeah. You
They
gotta be strong, yeah.
have a constitution that they just don't have to be able to say,
Mhm,
nah, I'm going with that. And
mhm,
this is to say all kids are bad, but that element of kids, they got it really, really hard because pressure, peer pressure, what else am I going to do is all in front of them. I mean, let me tell you something, man. There's people coming out of college now, no jobs. Where you gonna work? What are you gonna
mhm,
do? I
mhm.
just saw in the before we started, man, that there's some people in over in New York who was living in hotels because behind the COVID thing, and they were taking care of the bill. That program is about to end. Where are they going?
Mm, yeah.
And by the grace of God today, yes, I'm still gainfully employed. I have a home, and I'm confronted with the same situations. You know, if I sell my house, right, I got to pay it off. I got to lose something back. Where am I going? Because
Mhm.
2022 prices ain't no joke. They ain't
Yes.
no joke. You know, so nothing is dead yet. It's all still one day, one step at a time. To see how things go. But at least now I have an eye of maturity. I have some life experience behind me to say, hey, listen, if nothing else changes, I'm good. I
Mhm,
got home, I got heat, I got food. My kids I got four boys, they're all grown. They don't call me, borrow my car, they don't need money. They all got jobs and they got their own kids and whatnot. And I don't hear from them. But that's okay because they're
mhm.
not in jail. They're not calling me for bail. They're not calling me to get into a drug program and whatnot. I've done all that for them. I'm
Yeah.
30 years sober in AA. I've been there, done that. I've seen the dark side.
Mhm.
And by God's grace, I got to this side. And this is
Yes.
why I can enjoy my friends. I can enjoy the guys I grew up with. I can enjoy my experiences and whatnot because I can mix my bad with my good in a heartbeat and be saying like, not everybody gets that chance to change it around. And if you
Mhm.
do get the chance, make it happen. Because hey, listen, once you're gone, you're gone.
Right,
It's done.
right,
You know. So every day counts.
right. Let me ask about the kids. I mean, just in general, just your travels at the youth house here. Kids, I always hear kids. They say, "Oh, it's worse now than it was before." I'm always interested to hear people's take on that when they're talking about kids, and is it worse now than it was in the past? What you
It
think?
is.
Okay.
But and the reason why it's not going to go away. Things started changing when the video games came into play because they are a major distraction. If you could sit at something for hours on end on a day that's not going to help develop you and your maturity,
Hmm.
what happens when you stop playing? I see parents sometimes want to discipline their kids or angry with their kids, and they're going to take their cell phone. That's almost the worst thing you could do. So this is a different kind of kid because he brought up in a different kind of environment. I probably would be the same way if I had cell phones and video games when I was growing up. I came along when I remember Pac-Man. I just didn't get in it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I'm not a video game guy. But I saw it on the periphery, you know.
Hmm.
And then you get the smartphones, you get the smart watches, you get all this new innovations and whatnot, and it's great in its design, but it also helps make you a little lazy, you know.
Hmm.
Uh, Cut into all your Facebook come up, you know, social media, and these people like to see themselves. So they go out and rob somebody and they post pictures on
Poster,
Facebook,
yeah, yeah, they're
you
real
know.
smart criminals. Yeah, they're real smart. Yeah.
There's something missing in that thinking that you so grandiose. You just want to, you want to see yourself. You want to see a video. You're moving. You're on TV, so to speak.
Hmm.
What's that mindset?
Yes.
Because babies are still created the same way. Babies still need to eat. You still got to have a place to live. You're gonna just live with your parents the rest of your life. It's so the fundamental things in life haven't changed. How these young kids are going to get there and sustain themselves, that's the major question that confronts them.
Yes.
Because you can only help those who want to be helped.
Hmm.
I mean, they're building more jails than schools for a reason.
Hmm.
Sad, but true.
Hmm.
We have more people locked up in this country than any other country in the world. You know, so we got laws and rules and constitutions. Shit, we done had a black president. You know, but the fundamental part of this country hasn't really changed much. The
Hmm.
needle is moving, but it hasn't moved far enough, and it certainly isn't moving fast enough.
Hmm.
And these kids are going to get swept up in the vacuum they won't even be left with selling drugs. Society can do that too. They already made legalized marijuana. Why not
Hmm.
cocaine too? Sounds
Hmm.
far-fetched, but selling marijuana legally sounded far-fetched not more than 5 years ago.
Back when, right?
Yeah. So we don't, with the next 10 years, it's not going to tell the whole story, but it's going to tell a hell of a story.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How has Nork changed throughout your life?
How's it? Say
How's
again?
Nork how's Nork changed throughout your life? I know you talked about being around, obviously, for the first mayor, Mayor Gibson, rest in peace. But how's first black mayor Nork? Excuse me. But how's it changed throughout your life, Nork?
My lifetime, I feel so gifted,
Mm.
so fortunate to see things that were never ever supposed to happen. And that doesn't even start with the black president. We've had black mayors, we
Hmm.
had black congressmen, we've had black coaches in pro ranks. You
Hmm.
know, uh, again, it's a slow, steady move, but questions came about like, how can you have a league with almost 75, 80% black players and no black coaches? Because they said the black player can't coach. Yeah, no, they can't. That's just a job you're trying to hold on to.
Hmm.
So change and sharing is always going to be slow in this country, man. Because hey, there's some people. The insurrection was real, and it really shouted out how much there's an element of this country that doesn't want to see it progress. It wants to see it go back to the old times where it could oppress, it had domain over people. I got workers who could work for nothing. If you don't want to work, I'll whip you. And I mean, hey man, back in the slavery days, the overhead was nothing. Almost everything was profit. And
Hmm.
people got rich. So why would you want to give that up?
Okay.
And that's where we are. That's where we are today. It's just colored differently. It's molded a little differently, trying to camouflage it, but it still comes out to be the same. That it's hard now, man. We got black women about to be nominated to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Hmm.
We already got black judges, black lawyers, black uh, 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 doctors and surgeons. You pick a profession, we got some blacks.
Hmm.
That was supposed to happen because the things that changed our society, not our culture, but our society, was when the slaves got educated. Remember, if they found that you could read, they got rid of you.
Hmm. Yeah.
So along the paths of life as it moved on, more and more, we got the black colleges, black schools, we got, black this and black that. So our people could hold on to something that's theirs so they can migrate into the whole. But education, you got to know how to read, write, and count. Now, you got to read, write, and count, and know how to run a computer.
Hmm.
Okay? Fundamental, you
Hmm.
know? It's always something going on that uh, pushes our society and elevates us to another level. We just need to be prepared for it. You know?
Yes.
If we could educate ourselves as fast as we could buy a gun, we 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 as a people would be in a much better place. I'm not here trying to overthrow white folks. I'm just trying to say, hey, listen, don't try to kill my people. What we
Hmm.
can do together is a whole lot more than we can do alone.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Nah, absolutely. Yeah. Just speaking about life and how like sports and life parallel each other a lot here. As far as what has it given you as far as sports that sticks with you to this day?
Well, if I understand you right, would you say that again?
I
How
said,
sports?
uh, what is sports as far as what has it given you that sticks with you to this day?
Well, it gave me confidence. I could
Okay.
compete. Um, I started again um, playing as a 14-year-old. I'm going up against 17 and 18-year-olds. I didn't
Hmm.
have to overthrow them. I just need to be able to hang with them. So I developed confidence. I also learned I got to prepare. If I want to be able to compete with these guys, I just can't walk in there and throw my warm up on the bench and walk out on the floor and say, okay, my name is Ray Clark. No, I got to prepare. I got to, losers aren't ones with the fewest points on the scoreboard.
Hmm.
Losers are people who don't prepare. You come late to practice. You got a bad attitude. You don't want to do what your coaches say. You don't want to run the offense the way it's designed to be run. You want to just do your own selfish, self-centered thing. Those are losers. My Chiefs lost yesterday. They're not losers. They just lost the game. Didn't have enough points. That's all. You know.
Hmm.
But being a loser for me is not wanting to pay the price and pay the dues to hone your craft, whatever it is. You know.
Yeah.
And uh, 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 that's the thing that sports gave me more than anything. It gave me confidence. It let me know that I can compete with anybody. It let me know that to be successful, I need to share. You know, there's enough spotlight for everybody.
Hmm.
Everybody's trophy was just as big as mine. Everybody's jacket was just as big as mine. Uh, sometimes, and I say this humbly, man, but if you're really good, I don't have to say anything about myself. Other people will.
Oh, they'll talk. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
That's right.
and it's never Ray. It's always Ray Clark.
Ray Clark. Ray Clark.
It's always Ray Clark.
Hmm.
And I'm telling you, Ms. Webb, some of the things people have said about me and said to me really humbles me greatly. Um, it's just the the cherry on top of the Sunday. I got inducted into Newark's Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
Um, I really kind of like was kind of crying most of the night, like you feel like, I kind of deserve to be here, but it's like, man, they got started telling me everybody, when it's your turn, they read your
Yeah.
accolades and you this and you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Wow, man, because I didn't have to do all that, you
Hmm.
know, to feel important, you know, but uh, it all came together and realizing a lot of times, no matter how much you've accomplished, what people say about you still is reflected on what you can do for them, what you can do
Hmm.
for other people. People watch you all the time, my friend.
Hmm.
I watched you doing this,
Hmm.
and yeah, they say you want to be a winner, you got to know how to pick them. You know, and I'm not into grand. I mean, people got mansions with 25, 30 rooms, 5, 10 bathrooms in it, and three people living there. I mean,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I mean, it's great work if you can find it, but come on, man. Come on,
I
man.
I hear you.
But you know, I'm just saying, if I'm in the same situation, what could I do to help somebody else? I try
Yeah.
to keep a couple dollars in the console of my car, man, and I ride by somebody that's panhandling, man. A dollar is not going to break me. A dollar isn't going to make his life. What is
Hmm.
a dollar? Yeah,
Yeah.
and just sharing, or the willingness to share, to put yourself in somebody else's place, you know, maybe it'll help me get into heaven, you know. But if
Hmm.
not, at least I get close enough and knock on the door.
Yeah. So we want that opportunity.
Mhm.
Want the opportunity. Nah, Mr. Clark. I know you said call you Ray, but I keep saying Mr. Clark here. Oh, I was gonna ask as far as you got a couple more minutes for me.
Say it again. But
You
have
got a
what?
couple. You got a couple more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Just put you on the spot a little bit here. I know you're a very humble guy, but I'm gonna ask you to push that humble pie to the side just a little bit. Have some fun here.
Just having some fun.
No, push that humble pie to the side a little bit and have a little fun with these questions here. That's all.
All right, go for
Cool. When driving, you prefer the parkway or the turnpike?
it. The Parkway.
Parkway. Elizabeth
And why
Ave or
do
Clinton?
people? Let me ask you something. Why
Go
do
ahead.
people park in driveways and drive on parkways? Never mind.
Yeah. Something to think about. Something to think about. What Clinton Ave or Elizabeth Ave?
How about what?
Clinton Ave or Elizabeth Ave? Which one?
You're coming in a
Uh,
little
uh,
fuzzy.
can you hear me now?
Okay.
Can you hear me now? No, I was just saying Elizabeth Ave or Clinton Ave?
Clinton High,
Clinton Avenue. Clinton Avenue.
Clinton
Or,
Avenue.
or Elizabeth Avenue.
Clinton,
Okay.
Clinton Avenue. Clinton
Okay.
Avenue leads from my junior high school and goes straight down the south side.
Okay. Now, South Side or Seton Hall?
Oh, south side.
All
Without a doubt.
right.
Even the colors are pretty.
All right. Got you. Bragman's or Cooper's?
What was the first one?
Bragman's or Cooper's?
Coolest.
Uh, now, can you still hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
I got all that here.
No problem. But I was gonna say, as far as playgrounds, how was Cleveland Street playing? Not Cleveland, Cleveland Playground. How was it playing out there? I heard it was. You want to know how to play. That's where you went to go play. How was your experience over there?
Well, it was two places, man. Cleveland and Ripple Field.
Okay.
Uh, Cleveland on Saturday mornings was the place to be.
That's what I heard.
Um, you get um you get waxed there, and you get to learn there. And I played against people who had real names and was going places. One of the people was George Reynolds. He played for Houston, and he played in the big game when Houston played UCLA in the Astrodome, and he played with Elvin Hayes, and they beat him that night. And I never forgot how I was saying how, man, I played with him just Saturday up in the gym, and being with competition, it wasn't just the game. These guys after the game, they standing out in front of the playground talking. I
Yes.
mean, it wasn't just blasey blahs. It's like real life type stuff, and I'm just there in the pack. I'm hearing it, but I don't fully understand or appreciate it. But I just knew I was in a wholesome
Oh yeah.
environment.
Nah, good stuff. What did you prefer? You prefer the block party or going to the club?
Black party.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That club is wild, man. They start dancing, and you come there, you're all dressed up, you start, sweating. You know, sweat with a sweat on. Come on.
The whole thing up, huh?
Yeah, baby.
uh, best game you ever played in your life? Is it what game sticks out to this day? What's the best game you ever played in your life?
Wow. High school or college?
Either or, makes no difference.
The best game I ever played, Essex County tournament finals. Lou had just fouled out.
Okay.
We were up by 3. And the coach put me in the backcourt. It was only
Okay.
about 2.5 minutes to go. And what was meaningful about that is that the game before, I was dribbling the ball. I was really just being a ham, and I lost it a couple of times. And but we won the game. And I was surprised when the message came in for me to go into the backcourt. And the team played a half court press, and I pretty much broke the press, scored, put us up, and the clock was on our side, and we wound up winning that game. It was my second county championship, and I felt pretty good about that. They wrote a nice article in the paper about that too.
Who'd y'all beat?
Huh?
Who did y'all
We
beat?
beat, and it's funny that we won that game too, because we beat Bloomfield High School, but they beat East Orange High School, which was ranked right behind us, and it was a big upset. So instead of us playing would have been a much tougher team, we got to play a lower ranked team. And although they took us to the wire, we had a better shot at beating Bloomfield than we would have beaten East Orange. But
Okay.
all the breaks went our way that year.
Hmm. Best team you ever been on?
Best team I've ever been on?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would say my sophomore year. It was just a lot more talent. It was a lot more talent. Those guys, like I said, that team could have been a good college team. That's how good they were. And aside from playing with Lou, who was like I was his Scottie Pippen to his Michael Jordan. But that sophomore year, that 69 team, we had a whole bunch of guys that was if the 69 team played the 71 team, 69 team would crush them.
Okay.
That's how good they were. Because Lou would have been enough.
You wouldn't have been yeah. Now, speaking of that, playing in the city league, how was it for you?
Oh man, that was the thing you look forward to. I mean, it was like the baby NBA. Because like I said, we grew up in the neighborhood and all the different wards. So you knew everybody. And come to summer leagues, you have to be able to peel back what happened during the league. And the New York City League was the dominant league in the state for a while. I mean, you had the Big Ten with East Orange, and so forth. You had some teams over in Hudson County and whatnot. They were all good teams. But what made the New York City League so dominant was you had 7 schools, and out of the 7, at least 5 and sometimes 6 were often ranked. They were really good. So you cut your teeth in the New York City League. You said something. And almost every year they had at least 1, if not 2 players made all county and all state team.
Yeah. Now, as far as South Side, I'll put slash Shabazz because you might have seen some people later on here. Your all-time starting 5 from South Side slash Shabazz. Your all-time starting 5.
That ain't fair. That ain't fair. But I'll tell you what, I'll see what I can do.
You can have them positionless, or if you want to go point guard to center, that's fine. However you want to put the 5.
I'm just giving you 5 players.
Okay.
Listen, I got to start with Lou. he was just special. I'll have to start with. I mean, I'll tell you this: the five I'm gonna pick was so special. To be fair, I gotta leave myself off.
Wow.
I'll say Lou Grimsley, Ron Carnegie,
Okay.
um, William Butch Tarver,
Hmm.
um, Jackie Baker,
Okay.
Cleo Hill.
It's mean. That's a mean five.
Oh man, and I'm telling you, I'm leaving off an all-star team. I'm leaving off All-Star team.
You got a
I
you got
can't
a
remember.
you got a
I'm trying to
six
remember.
man.
I'm
You
trying
got
to
a six.
remember the brother. He played for in the NBA and the NFL. Lonnie Wright.
Lonnie, yes, yes.
Oh,
That's yeah,
I
yeah.
mentioned Lonnie.
Wow.
The fellas would cuss me out. So you got to be five and
Mhm,
impossible. But
mhm.
Lonnie got to be.
All right. He could be a six man. I was gonna ask you who be a six man. So that
I might have to buy a ticket to watch the man. It was just that much time. It was just that much time. And you know, that was funny. Back then, the tickets for them games was 35 cents.
35 cent. Wow.
Some of the best players the city ever had. The games were 35 cents.
Yeah. Who's uh
Yeah.
who's the best to ever come out of Shabazz basketball player? South Side. Excuse me. I'll say South Side for
I tell you, you know, I would put about 10 names in a hat and just close my eyes
pick
and
one.
pick one. It's really they were just that talented, man. They were just some superb players, man. And we sit around and still talk about it. The same names come up, and like I said before, you know, my name may come up first, my name may come up last, but it'll eventually come up, you know. And you
Mhm.
still got the regulars, the Carnegies and the Tarvers, the Lonnie Wrights, the Cleos. I mean, Cleo, he's like the top dog of Southside, and I tell you, you know, there's some people that could give it to him, but he was really uh, above and beyond his time. You know,
Mhm.
not only was the game developing when Cleo played the 50s, but the courts were developing.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
they had these little key. They called it key. That's what it looked like, a keyhole, and it was only
Mhm.
4 feet wide. And you get the ball under the back in a 4 foot wide line, you're right underneath the basket. You know,
Mm.
and slowly but surely, as the years went on, they widened the lane. You know, they changed from wooden backboards to fiberglass backboards, big square. You say, hey, you hit the square, ball will go in. Most times it did.
Mhm.
And the courts got wider. Even the rules changed. I played at a time when they had the one shot foul. And then they changed that to you get 5 fouls, and then you go into the bonus, shoot 1 and 1. And even then, you got to make the first one
Mhm.
to get the second one. So these just different rule changes that came along while in my time that I played. So we have to make all these adjustments in your game. And you know, of course, we didn't have the 3 point line. You
Mhm.
know, and a lot of things might have changed had it been because you know uh, 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 Steph Curry didn't develop a 3 point shot. People shot from that range all the time, but the
Yeah.
game was to go inside. I know a lot of people that can shoot from a long distance. You know,
Mhm.
that's just what the way they play. Mo Layton, Matt Key from Central, these jokers, they did to shoot long shots, man, and they made it, but they only got 2 points for it.
Yes.
So
Did you
the game was changed. Yeah.
did you have a did you have a go-to move?
Oh, not not really. I wasn't a shooter. I was a scorer. You know,
Okay.
I could score the basketball. Um, and again, like I said, more often than not, I had mismatches. I was 6'5", about 205,
Mm.
and I was quick. You know,
Okay.
and I learned you beat your opponent on the first dribble. So if you're dribbling 5 times, you know, we didn't do that. You know, one dribble, two is a lot. You're at the hoop,
That's right.
or you want to shoot. You know,
Mhm.
and the big guys that I played against, you know, they were 6'7", maybe 6'8", but they didn't want to come out of the lane. You know,
Mhm.
someone used to tell them, "Why don't you come inside? I can come out here with me."
Yeah, yeah. Nah, that's right. That's right.
But I was always around the basket. I had pretty good hands. And like I
Mhm.
said, I was about a 85, 90% free throw shooter. So I just cleaned up a little. I just
Okay.
cleaned up. You know, and
Okay.
as a sophomore, that was my only way of scoring. You know, tips, layups. You know, I would be the open person if somebody else was double teamed. You know, things like that. And my points would hurt you
Okay.
because I wasn't supposed to score.
Gotcha.
And
Gotcha. Yeah.
when I was a senior, I mean, Lou dropped 47 in the game. You know, and I think I had about 23 or 24 that day.
Mhm.
But quite naturally, Lou got the headline. That was okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Somebody, someone who should have made it. However you want to define made it.
Shoemate?
No, somebody who should have made it. However you
Who
want to
should have made
define made it. Yes.
it? Well, I'm gonna define making it because Lou was definitely an NBA player, but he didn't get there
Hmm.
for whatever his reasons. But he's been very, very successful as a coach, so he made it.
Yes.
Um, there was a couple people who played for Shabazz that played under Lou, played in the NBA. You
Right.
know, because the NBA is just a job. It's a high
Hmm.
profile. You can see people working on TV,
Hmm.
but back when I was in school in the 60s and 70s, NBA players were just getting out of five figures in their contracts. I mean, I
Hmm.
remember when the Jerry West and the Oscar Robertsons got $100,000. I mean, that was crazy money. You know, Bill Bradley, they didn't call him Dollar Bill when he came out of Princeton. I think he signed for like something like four years and $500,000. Man, that was astronomical.
Yeah.
You know, and even then I could say, wow, salaries only go up. And as soon as it hit that $1 million plateau, you
Hmm.
know, it's like, man, these guys are making a ton of money. I remember when Julius Erving signed with the 76ers, the reason we won number six. He had $6 million contract.
Yeah.
But what people don't realize is that it's a lot of money, but it's not a lot of money. It first of all, it puts you in the 50% tax bracket. So right away you're making about half. And you got
Hmm.
hangers on, you got big money, you got big bills. You're not gonna buy a Kia or Volvo, you're gonna buy a Rolls.
Hmm.
Earl had one, Walt Frazier had one. My friend Greg Ladder, when he played for the Bears in the NFL. His rookie year was the same year they got Walter Payton. His contract was $35,000. I
Hmm.
couldn't believe it. You know, because thinking, you know, the NFL, the NBA, making this ton of money. A lot of those jokers back in the day, those players, they not only had their pro contract, but they had jobs
The
when the
jobs.
season.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, selling insurance, this and that, you know, to make ends meet. So you know, all of those things were to learn and to understand and appreciate.
Yes. No, definitely. Definitely. And getting to you here, what's up? What's the best part about being Ray Clark?
The before and after, the one that's today survived the one from yesterday.
Mm.
Uh, I got uh like I said, I had some issues in my life. I didn't go to jail, but I got locked up, and I got locked up in the jail that I worked in.
Mm.
Uh, Drug and alcohol career. I've been
Hmm.
sober 30 years. You know, I just
Yeah.
matter of fact, this past October, I just celebrated 30 years clean, sober. And the person that came along in those 30 years literally changed and grew up and and slowed down and had a much greater appreciation for life one day at a time as it goes. Because hey, listen, man, sometimes you know, death doesn't give you a makeover. You know,
No. No.
every day you got to get it right because you're up against a whole lot of things: Mother Nature, Father Times, accidents, mistakes, wrong place at the wrong time, right place at the wrong time. You know, a stray bullet. You know, you sit there behind yourself. You know, I heard stories. One family was sitting at a red light, and a tree fell on the car. I mean, how do you account for something like that? I mean, like,
Right.
so every day is precious. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't got no time for fooling around. So the best thing about Ray Clark now is what I know. You know, I paid a lot of dues to know what I know now, and I've seen a lot, done a lot. I've humbled myself. I've slowed down. And I've come to not only appreciate my life, I appreciate your life. I
Yes.
appreciate other people, and people are
Hmm.
still around, still here, but they doing, man. Because, hey, man, it's a life is great. Yeah, it's got its
Hmm.
problems, its issues. When did it never? When did it never? You know,
Hmm.
you go back to the Revolutionary War. People have problems, man. Trying to settle this and settle that. We want this. We want you out. We want you in. It ain't never changed, and that's just the
Yeah.
way it is. You know,
Hmm.
life is a challenge, and it's
Yes.
challenging. You know, you want to get on your feet, you gotta get up off your ass. Lazy won't get it. You know,
Hmm.
and if you have it, you got it going on. Reach back and help somebody else. You ain't got to help everybody. You don't have to change the populace, but you help one. You just help one. Have a open willingness in your heart, a warmth in your heart to be able to say, "Hey, listen, man. You know, you look like you ain't eat today, man. You want a sandwich? I got you. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
something like that. You know, they say
Yeah.
do something for one and don't let them know that you did it. You know,
Hmm.
I can get that. So with all the other things that's going on around life, it's it's not nice, but it's okay.
Yes.
It ain't nice, but it's okay. We can
Hmm.
handle it. You know,
Hmm.
you don't look like you're missing any meals, so how bad can it be?
Yeah, no, no, the wife has been kind to me. She's been kind to me. Uh, as far as there was a book on your life, what would you call it?
A bump?
A book on your life. What would you call it? What would you name it?
Uh, Ray Ray.
Okay,
Ray Ray.
very straight to the point.
Everybody cuts your name short, you know. Hey Q,
Hmm.
what's up? Everything got a name, but they gonna cut it short, right? And it's people like I'm either Ray Clark or Ray Ray.
Hmm.
And Ray Ray would tell the story of the before and after. You know,
Yes.
I've seen the other side because I've been on the other side, and I
Hmm.
tell you, getting to this side took some doing. You know, and yeah, like I said, I'm in recovery program. I've been in recovery 30 years, and I go out and I speak at AA meetings all over the state of Jersey, man. And I tell my story about you know what I did and what effects using drugs and alcohol had. Because it's not the chemical, it's behavior. You know, your attitude. You know, I can do
Hmm.
this and get away with it. I can do this. I won't have any repercussions to face. You know, I can. You know, like you know, it puts you in seedy places because that's where the drugs and alcohol is.
Hmm.
You know, those people got nothing good on their heart for you how much money you got, and they would prefer to be able to get your money and not give you the drugs. That's what they really want to do. So I mean, I had places I had to fight to get in, I had to fight to get out. I mean, like, and I couldn't wait to get there. I've been like, what are you doing? You know, and all that's in the story. So as great as my athletic career was and my accomplishments, and you know, being in the Hall of Fame, all state, all that kind of stuff. You know, I was you know in the crack house too. You know, I was closing up bars and opening up liquor stores. I mean, like, you know, that too. So I'm
Yes.
well rounded in all that. You know, it's not how you start the race, but how you finish it. And that every day is a new day. You can always start over. You can give up the bad and you can start with something new. You can be better to yourself, for yourself, with yourself
Hmm. Hmm.
if you want to. You know, I don't have to report to anybody to have a decent life. That's my choice. And today I know how what all the choices from that I can choose from. I know all of the choices now. So if I choose something bad, it's no surprise what the consequences are. If I choose something good, the same thing. There's no surprises about what the benefits can be.
Hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
And do that till death do you part. And
Hmm.
one day it will, you know.
Hmm.
That,
Now,
that
now, well said. Well said. So, at this point in your life, you think about that senior year, about to go to Seton Hall, Ray Clark there. What advice would this Ray Clark give that 17, 18-year-old Ray Clark? What advice would you give him?
slow your roll and pay attention. It's I remember the coach John Madden. He had 3 rules for his Raiders. He said, "Be on time, pay attention, and play like hell on Sunday."
Mhm.
That's what I would tell Ray Clark, 18
Mhm.
years old, right? Just lost my, I lost my, I had my son, my first son on a Saturday. That Tuesday, I lost my father.
Yeah.
Um, that had a major impact on me. I mean, 18, you're not mature. You don't know anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I wanted to be a father. And college was intense. You got to focus.
Mhm.
And I really wasn't ready. I think I'd have done better had I taken off a year. Just to learn about life
Yes.
and what I need to do to deal with college.
Mhm.
Uh, so I would tell Ray, hey, listen, and these are some of the things I live by. Be on time. Like I said, I'd rather be a half hour early than 5 minutes late. You know,
Mhm.
um, pay attention and work like hell when it's time.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
you're gonna see some people, you're gonna pass some people, you're gonna catch up with others. It's not a race. It's just whatever's happening that day. And to compete with life, but I don't have to compete with people. Life is competitive enough.
Mhm.
Compete with people. Hey, listen, man. If we going for the same job, and hey, that's a competition. You know. But if you don't have a ride there, and I do, but I say, hey, listen, come on, man, I'll take it. We'll see what happens. You know, one of us will get it. One of us will get the job. But the other
Mhm.
thing is to be able to live within your skin, to be able to say, hey, listen, man, I ain't scared of a little competition. And
Right.
and and you got the job, good luck. And you say, hey, Ray, where are you going? I said, well, I ain't get this job. I gotta go find it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And they say,
Nah.
keep it moving.
That's right.
Yeah,
Keep it moving,
keep it.
Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, I just want to say thank you again for us to even connect. I mean, people come in your life for a reason, and even doing all this stuff here for the last few months, what have you. Like I said, this is again, it's been a whirlwind of just joy and just so excited every time I get off. I got a high, everything. I'm just excited, and it's a prime example. This just meets individuals such as yourself. You sharing, a little bit of your life here. I mean, this stuff that I could just take with me and just, as I continue to further myself on this journey, as we've been talking about. That's been one of the big words we've been talking about as far as it being a journey here. I just wanted to say thank you just for the opportunity to listen to you and just and hear you out. Like, this is the pleasure's been all mine and the honor has been all mine, sir. Like I said, I just want to say thank you.
Man, you was interviewing all my guys. I want to say thank you. Man, yeah, Lou, Jim, and Mo Late, and all them boys.
Nah. And we got you. We got you. Definitely got you. Yes. Yes. Yes.
It's been good, man. No, I take it back. It's been great. It really has, man. I don't really get to get feedback a lot. But
Hmm.
I appreciate this because hey, man, this is all we got left. I mean,
Hmm.
but you tapping into the guys in my generation, these guys, and what we've done, and to be able to talk about it, man. Hey, listen, we got more time behind us than in front of us,
Hmm.
and to say, hey, listen, I can reminisce on some really good times, tell you about some things I'm doing now, and what could I do to help you? I mean, like really, I mean, you're in another state, but if there's anything I could do to help you that's on my path, you only got to call me. And you got it, because hey man, that's the point I was trying to make before. We can do things to help uh, enhance ourselves, not only individuals but as people, man. I mean, I think it put God in a good mood. So
Nah,
thank you, man.
nah. Thank you, Mr. Clark. Thank you. I appreciate it. We all know
Hey,
how
just
much this
call me
means to
Ray
me.
one time, man. That
I know
Mr.
you. I
Clark.
know you've been saying that. I know you've been saying that.
That Mr. Clark. That Mr. Clark thing. If Lou heard you say that, man, he'd be double
And
over.
he got on me too to call him Lou. I won't call him that. I just say coach. I
You
just say
know,
coach.
He made my day. I listened to his podcast with podcast with him, and he said, well, who's the first person you set a team with? He said, Ray Clark. I said, oh, I'm done.
Yes. Yes.
I was done. I was
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Man.
Yes.
But that's all we have left, man. Throw names around and some thoughts and memories from what we've done and whatever. Like, God bless the fact that we got some good memories, man. And we can mix it with the bad and can realize, hey, man, I can still come out on top.
Just
And
about to say that. Yes.
so listen, bro. I wish when will this show?
I'll probably within the next week or so. But like I said, I'll let you know and let you see it beforehand, before anybody else, in case you need me to do something. But I'll let you see it beforehand.
You said at the top, man. We just two brothers chopping it up.
Yes.
How bad
Yes.
can we?
Okay. All right. Appreciate it. You
We
be
put
well.
everybody on blast.
Definitely. No, you be well.
Okay. I appreciate this. Had a great time, man. You be good to
Definitely.
yourself, people, family, and
Thank you.
I'll see you on the other side. Take
We'll
care.
do. All right. We'll do.
All right.
All right. Peace. Good stuff. When OGs talk, just sit back, listen, soak it up. I mean, God willing, my journey continue on, but just taking little nuggets here and there, whether it's Ray Clark or somebody else here. But like I said, this has been a blast. I definitely enjoyed doing this. So hope you guys enjoy listening. So with that being said, I'm gonna just slide on out. I'll put my hand over my heart. That means I feel you. Yeah.